Hey guys, have a grungy journal I want to share with you today, and I apologize if my voice cracks in that. I've been having some allergy problems and then getting over a summer cold. So this grungy journal is, I forgot to measure it, so I'll measure it real quick. I'll let you know how big it is. It is, looks like about 8, about probably about 5.5, and it is a softcover journal. I have used a vintage crochet tablecloth that had a bunch of holes in it when I bought it, so I bought it for that reason, to cut it up because it did have holes in it. And this I've coffee dyed. I've used distressed inks and some I think they're called Stabilo pencils, and a black one, and used it on the front cover here, a little bit down here as well. I've also used my distress markers from Tim Holtz on this little word block, and then this is a Tim Holtz paper doll. The word block, I have a piece of burlap underneath, and it said "Adventure Awaits." I have a grungy paper that I've attached to the front cover, and then attached the paper dolls too. I've stitched a rusty key to the front. It is a grunged up seam binding for the closure, and then here on the spine I have used, this fabric was from a vintage dress that I bought, a child's dress I bought at a antique store. I coffee dyed it, tore it up. Here's some more of the vintage tablecloth, and then this is actually a new trim, crocheted trim, that I've cut up and frayed the edges, and I've used this in between the pages throughout the book. There's the back, and then here's the middle of it. And let me untie so you can get a better look at it here. Well, maybe. There we go. And I've used a lot of trim on the edges, and I think that it just, I love the fullness of this journal and all the little goodies that are showing on the sides of it. And so here on the front, I have used vintage photos throughout. They are original photos, and I have some original vintage ephemera as well throughout this book. There's a grungy piece of that paper, and then this black stitching here is from stitching the key on the front. We have a little bit of cheesecloth here, and then a vintage photo of a homestead, and it looks like they were cutting up some trees. Here is a piece of coffee dyed muslin, and I've used that black pencil on it, stitched around this, cut a hole in this fabric to frame the picture, this lady's face. I have some Tim Holtz washi tape. This is a vintage photo of a mom and a little boy. We have cheesecloth. We have some lace, and we have I don't know if these bingo cards are vintage, but they are older. And then this is a flip over or flip out, and we have some lace, fabric, some old book paper that I've collaged here, and then a photo of 3 girls. And on this page, and I have ripped the pages and scrunched them up and tore them throughout the book. We have some more of the washi tape from Tim Holtz. Piece of fabric tied here. We have a piece of fabric, some cheesecloth, and a old book paper, and then some lace. Another picture. Here I have a flip up. I've used a vintage button attached to a bulb pin. it got stuck. But it does lay flat. There we go. Piece of cheesecloth. Here's a photo of a mom and her daughter. I've used a punch to punch the sides of the picture, and I've done that throughout the album on the pages. Here I've done a little, I use a little stamp so that you can journal on here if you would like. And then I have 2 word cards. This is a, well, a tag that I made out of cardstock, and I've grunged it up. And this was some names on a picture, and I cut the picture down and didn't want to just throw this away, so I attached it to this tag. And then I also have a guest check that I've made a snippet on, with some lace, cheesecloth, some trim, and a little applique there, and a little tuck spot. The little pocket here is a vintage handkerchief, and it has some I don't know if you can see it, but right here there is some embroidery, and then it's got a nice crocheted trim around the edge. And here is that trim that I used on the spine that I've used between the pages. We have a coffee filter with a snippet on it of a little girl with a bottle. We have burlap, we have lace, and we have cheesecloth. And then here's that the back side of that coffee filter with some cheesecloth, piece of picture, some grunged up lace. And on this page here I have a snippet and some cheesecloth, lace, fabric, and trim. And here is a piece of cardstock that I had coffee dyed, and it was really pretty, grunged up really well. And I was making some circle tags, so I used the leftover pieces of paper and made like little frames. And here we have 3 ladies with an umbrella. Here we have another snippet and a picture. It is 2 gentlemen. One's doing a handstand, the other gentleman is holding his feet. We have cheesecloth, lace, and old book pages. Here we have cheesecloth, an applique, and a picture of 3 gentlemen sitting on the side of an old vehicle. Here is a picture of 3 gentlemen, and I've put it in a mini CD case, coffee stained it, stitched it, had a little snippet here. I did stitch it closed, but you can journal here. And then we have another picture here with some gentlemen in front of an old vehicle, or an old car, whatever. And then there's a piece of a time card that I've grunged up, some lace and some trim. And over here we have some grunged up paper, fabric, cheesecloth, a paper doily, and an applique snippet here. And then that little picture was actually that small. I didn't cut it down. And it's a picture of a man and woman. It looks like they're on the beach. We have a family here. I've got some of that grunged up paper, some book paper, some more grunged up paper, some trim. And then this is a flip out. It's a guest check that I've attached to this with this fabric. We have a piece of applique here. This is a vintage lodge book page. We have names and bunch of writing. It was from January 1st, 1931, and it ended June 30th, 1931. Here's the back side. That is original. And then here on this side, I have a picture with a snippet with some cheesecloth, trim, and an applique there. And here we have a snippet with some cheesecloth, a page here that I've cut out the little, using my little punch with some trim and a little picture here. Here we have a snippet with some lace, some appliques, and another vintage photo. Here we have a vintage photo of a mom and her kids. We have a paper doily, some cheesecloth, an old book page, and then you can see where I've grunged it and wrinkled it a little here. Here we have a photo of 3 moms and their children. We have a doily, some crochet trim, and then an applique and some cheesecloth. This is an original vintage photo of a little girl, and I love her ringlets. We have a doily, cheesecloth, lace, and then this little applique here. Some more of that trim in the middle. Another snippet of some vintage fabric, cheesecloth, applique trim, a little flower, crocheted flower with a button there. And here I have some grungy paper, cheesecloth, a piece of lace, a picture of a gentleman with a fish, and he is standing in front of an old barn. Here we have another photo here, and I made a little snippet with some cheesecloth and some really grunged up lace. And here you can see that I've wadded and turned and distressed here with the inks and coffee. And here we have another family photo. We have some cheesecloth, some lace trim, some applique, and then crochet trim. Here's a flip up. We have that piece of that crocheted tablecloth, a piece of cheesecloth, ruffled fabric here, a picture of a lady, and she's sitting on a bench. Down here in the corner, I did put an applique and a piece of crochet trim, some cheesecloth. And here we have a dolly with a cheesecloth, and Mom and Pa standing in front of their porch. And then here's another photo. In this photo, it's a bunch of boys and girls, and we look like I have 2 older ladies here, and I'm thinking it may be a school outing or something. They're sitting on a concrete wall here, and then we have a snippet that I've made with cheesecloth, lace, crochet dolly trim. And then here we have a pretty grunged up piece of paper, and I've done the punch here. And then this is a flip out. We have some grunged up paper, some cheesecloth, and some more paper, and then a picture of 2 gentlemen that I've stitched around. It looks like they're out in the middle of a field or in the middle of the desert. It looks like it might be sand. And this is a vintage, it says it's an original station baggage weigh bill from Michigan Central Railroad Company. And the date on it says July 25th, 1896. We have some names listed here, and it says baggageman of train number 72. A vintage photo here of 2 ladies that look like maybe they're waiting for the train. We have some cheesecloth, some lace trim, a picture of Granny and the baby, and standing in front of an old house. And on this page, I have a little snippet here with some cheesecloth, lace, and you can see the paper doily from the other side. A picture of a house and the fenced-in yard. And we have the paper doily and cheesecloth and a picture of 2 men, and they're looking at this bush, and they're pointing to something in the bush. Can't make it out, but they are pointing to something. Here we have a picture that is attached to that coffee filter, and then I also used a bingo card and attached it to this side over here, and then I attached this photo to the bingo card and the coffee filter, and it looks like a dad and the 2 kids, and it looks like they're standing along the ocean or a lake, and it says 1954. It says Daryl, Cindy, and John. And then here on the back side is that bingo card that I've tore up, and I've placed a piece of lace between the bingo card and the picture. There's some cheesecloth, and there's a picture of Mom, Dad, and the little girl. Cheesecloth, and then a ruffled piece of fabric here. This is a vintage book page. It is original. I believe it's German. Not real sure. And then we have a picture of a young girl here, and she's standing in front of that big old flowery bush. And then we have a snippet of lace and cheesecloth, and there's 2 different types of cheesecloth here on this one. And then here on the back side, we have some burlap, a piece of fabric, a piece of lace, and a picture of 2 ladies. And then we have some vintage book paper here, and then some vintage book paper on this side. And this is the back of a bingo card. And here's some of that bingo card I tore up. Some cheesecloth and a picture of mom and 2 children. Here we have a snippet here with some cheesecloth, some grunged up lace, some crocheted trim, and then we have a lady dressed in a white dress, and she's standing in front of a house. Here is the other side of that fabric that I grunged up. And then here is a picture of a man and woman, and I believe the caption, it was an anniversary picture. And then this is a Market 49 frame that I grunged up, and there's a piece of that crocheted tablecloth that I grunged up. There's the back, and I can't remember, I think I showed you the spine, but there's the spine. And I love how this one turned out. And I want to thank you all for watching. And I want to say I hope you have a safe and wonderful Memorial weekend. And give me a thumbs up if you liked my video. If you're not a subby, please subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to all of my subbies. And have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Bye now.